Hello, nerds around the world, and welcome to another episode of the Nerd United One podcast. I'm CFO, your host for tonight, and we are doing episode 67 of our show, which is the topic of tonight's show this evening is top 10 voice performances in animated movies. And to help me out to do that, I have two gentlemen. Of course, of course, you may know them by now. Of course, of course. They've been off the show quite frequently, and they've been, and of course, they're always a blast to have on here. Mike, first off, we have Mike Gillick from Geek Style Podcast. Mike, what's going on?
Not much. Glad to be back as always, and once more, I have a kitty in my lap. So.
Yeah, if you know what he means.
No, it's a cat. See.
Colton, you dirty man. Speaking of that, Colton, Hunter, introduce yourself, of course, again to the great people out there.
Hi, all two of you that watch the show. I did my best to not pick Disney. I did my best to try and put some non-Disney movies in here, but it didn't really work out.
Yeah, Disney seems to be the king of all things, animated. It's just like, it's really hard to find anyone else other than them who put out such output. But yes, there are others. And of course, one of the great things about, one of the great highlights of animated films, of course, Disney being included, is the voice acting. Voice performances by star-studded celebs, who led their talents into breathing life characters. And then with this list, we are going to explore which anime voice performances are the best. Question, and we're going to start off with myself. Going up we'll do it from number 10 to number 1. Number 10 for me is John Ratzenberger from Toy Story. Of course, John Ratzenberger is the voice of Ham, the pig. I always liked Ham. He had, he's been kind of more satirical and more. I just love John Ratzenberger in general, because he's become kind of a mainstay of the Pixar movies, and I just love his Ham character. He does seem like he is very much a secondary character, but he does have his own standout moments, especially in. But he does, tend to fit in other dimensions besides being the secondary fiddle with only a few lines here or there. He just has some, very hilarious moments. I do like the character. He is part of that. He is very much part of that core group of the characters in these movies that you just can't imagine the series being without. So John Ratzenberger, as the voice of Ham in Toy Story, that's number 10 on my list. All right, Mike, what's number 10 on your list?
All right, my number 10, I'm going with Kristen Bell from as Anna in Frozen.
Okay.
You can't go wrong with Idina Menzel as Elsa, but I think as far as a voice actress goes, I think Kristen Bell brings a lot more to her role. Quite frankly, she's on the screen a lot more than Elsa is. So just like the energy she brings to it, and then the pure optimism that the character always seems to have. Yeah. The fact that she's just leading, she's going through the adventure of trying to save her sister, and just like I think she brings a nice energy and a nice compassion to that role that is really necessary when your sister is a snow queen. So yeah, my number 10 is Kristen Bell in Frozen.
I need to watch that a bit more often. To me, it doesn't really compare to stuff like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin.
Well, no, but I think a lot of people give it a pass because they get they've overplayed Let It Go and all the songs way too much. But people just kind of brush it off. And it's actually a really, really good movie. If you like look at it with new eyes, it's actually got a lot of really good moments to it, and it definitely lives up to its moniker of a Disney film.
I agree, yeah.
All right, great choice. Okay, Colton, why don't you give us number 10 on your list?
Number 10 on my list, this is going to sound weird, but it is Rene Auberjonois, who plays Chef Louis and the Little Mermaid. I know he's only on screen for a few minutes, but he injects the perfect amount of psychotic enthusiasm for his job, instantly making him one of the most memorable bit characters in the Disney library. Had his character had a bigger presence on the film, I might have ranked him a little higher, but as such, he stands at number 10. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Like I said, big character, so not a whole lot to go into. But I just love how overly enthusiastic he is about cutting up little fish and all that jazz. It's like, first I cut off their heads, then I pull out their bones. Oh my God. No wonder. I'm surprised that Sebastian wasn't scarred for life after having to watch that entire psychotic musical number play out. Yeah, that's my number 10.
Actually, if you want to see a better role for Rene Auberjonois, I think that's how you pronounce it. Right here. Little Mermaid. Little Last Unicorn, sorry. He does a great role in this one.
What's it about?
It's an old like 80s and 90s. When was this made? Anyway, 1982. It's an animated film, but it's considered a classic by those who have seen it. It's very well done. It's kind of almost a Don Bluth style animation type, but basically it's about this unicorn that she's the last unicorn, and she gets turned into a human by the bumbling wizard. I believe and the wizard's voiced by Jeff Bridges. Oh wait, no. No. Alan Arkin is the voice of the wizard.
Okay.
I see.
But I mean, it's very well done. It's got Jeff Bridges, Mia Farrow, Angela Lansbury, Rene Auberjonois, Mia Farrow, Christopher Lee. I mean, it's really got a cavalcade of who's who in the voice actors world.
Okay, if I ever come across, so I'll take a look. Okay, thanks for the recommendation.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, to me, he always to me would be Odo on Star Trek Deep Space. Question. All right. Going on with me. Going on to number 9 on my list is Jack Black as the voice of Poe from Kung Fu Panda. Jack Black. I mean, I'm not a big Jack Black fan, but I don't really hate him. I think he's pretty okay. I mean, he can be really over the top, and irritating in terms of the certain amount of roles he plays. But this one seems to be a very perfect fit for him. Because his Poe is lovely, enthusiastic, but he just have a certain amount of ineptness. His character shows him to be the Dragon Warrior, which is kind of dubious at first. You see Poe's progression on the film. He just go through an evolution of character. And Jack Black, he is just wonderful in this role. I mean, he just really brings a likability and a charm to Poe that that is, just all the more enduring to watch. I mean, he like I say, he's hilarious in the role. It's just, so there's some a bit of moments, especially when he's with the mentor voiced by Dustin Hoffman. When he's about to train Kung Fu, it's like, do you want to learn Kung Fu? It's like, I do. It's like, and he's about to cry. It's like, no crying. It's like, I'm not crying. Of course, but yeah, it's like. This character could have easily come up as one note, but Jack Black brought the energy necessary to just bring this character to life, and he like the result, like I said, it's truly like one of the best vocal performances in an animated movie. So Jack Black is Poe from Kung Fu Panda, number 9 on my list. All right, Mike, what is number 9 on your list?
All right, my number 9 is from the English dub of Princess Mononoke. This is one of my all-time favorite anime movies, and in it the wolf goddess named Moro is voiced by Gillian Anderson, of X-Files fame. Yep. This was released. The English dub was released in, like, I think 1999 to 2000, somewhere around there. So actually, she was kind of at the peak of her fame right there. But she brings a very a wonderful mother figure to a role that in the original Japanese was actually done by a man. But I think as a female motherly figure, I think I actually prefer her in that role over the original Japanese, because she gives just a quiet power. Every single word she speaks it very levelly, but there's a power, and even when she's like threatening someone, there's a menace in that voice. Even though she doesn't raise her voice at all, she does a really wonderful job in that one. And she's actually one of the main reasons I do prefer the dub over the original Japanese. So, yeah, Gillian Anderson in Princess Mononoke as Maro the Wolf God.
All right, great pick. Great pick. I mean, I still had to see like that movie because I heard Miyazaki is like a total he's amazing. I remember, of course, his films are amazing. But just
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason why pretty much all of the Disney animators have watched his films, because they have. I don't think without Miyazaki we would not have like Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid. None of those would be existing.
I think they pretty much owe a significant amount of that to him without question. All right, Colton, what is number 9 on your list?
Number 9 on my list is from The Princess and the Frog, Keith David as Dr. Facilier or whatever. Okay, so he's more or less a devil in plain sight, but Keith Davis gives a charismatic enough performance that I actually could see people being swayed into one of his deals. One of my favorite scenes from The Princess and the Frog is when he makes another deal with his friends on the other side after he lost track of Prince Devine. He seems a bit nervous at first, but then seamlessly switches to calm and collected and doesn't miss a beat, explaining what he plans to do. And of course, let's not forget about how badass his voice sounds. It's kind of sad that he had to die in that movie, because I would have liked to, well, if they ever made a sequel to it, I would have liked to see him come back and see more of what he's capable of doing, because he's just he just has that much charisma to him.
Oh, I adore Keith David. He is one of my all-time favorite voice actors.
Yeah, for me. I didn't even know. You can almost
give James Earl Jones run for his money, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was on Gargoyles. I mean, of course.
Oh yeah, Goliath, and he's in all 3 of the Mass Effect games. Mm-hmm. He's been around a lot longer than most people seem to think, and every time he shows up, he brings the goods.
Yeah, definitely. It was just like I mean, I think he's quite underrated myself. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't really get a lot of the attention he deserves, most certainly. All right, going on to number 8 for me is Angela Lansbury as Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast. Is it me, or does this character get a little overshadowed? Replacing the other characters from Beauty and the Beast.
It's not you. I mean, everyone remembers Lumiere and Cogsworth, but she's just not as quotable as them, I guess.
I mean, they do have somewhat of a flashiness to them, but I mean, Angela Lansbury, I mean, of course, she's like a huge veteran of stage and screen, but she does bring a warmth and a sweetness to Mrs. Potts, that you just makes you all fall in love with the character, and definitely in her scenes, I think she just kind of adds some kind of maternal guidance to Belle, I guess. I mean, but like I said, and I love her scenes with her son, Chip, the little cub. Is like, "Listen, Chip, I'm not going to have you living with some wild stories." She said, "No, stories not enough word into the tongue." But not a very I wouldn't say it's not the meatiest role, but it's far from the smallest. But it's I mean her presence. I mean it's no less important in this movie without a doubt. So Angela Lansbury as Haas from Beating the Beast is number 8 for me. Okay, Mike, what is number 8 on your list?
Yeah, Emma Thompson has her role cut out for her in the remake.
That's going to be pretty hard to top.
Yeah. Well, my number 8 is Michael Myers in Shrek.
Okay.
He's Mike Myers is kind of hit a slow patch as far as his live action acting goes.
Yeah.
But Shrek is. He keeps going back to Shrek because he knows that character so well, and he does a really good job with it. He portrays this angry ogre that loves to, throw his voice out and loves to shout and be all gruff and mean and nasty. But underneath, there is a caring person that he does his best to hide. But occasionally, it does come out especially when Donkey's around or Fiona's around, or he gathers these friends along the movies, and these friends manage to get in and help bring that good ogre out. And I think Mike Myers handles it very nicely. He just subtly hints at the goodness underneath.
Right.
And so the growth that he gives that character from in the beginning of the first Shrek to the end of the Shrek movies, I think he did a really, really great job with that character. So, yeah, Mike Myers as Shrek is my number 8.
All right, of course, who doesn't love him as that character? That, certainly. All right, Golden, why don't you give us number 8 on your list?
I feel really bad for where this person is, but number 8 is from Toy Story, Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. I really wanted him to be higher on this list, okay, but I feel like some of the other choices I had were slightly better.
Really?
That being said, I still really love how Tim Allen brought Buzz Lightyear to life. One of the best things about Allen's performance was that he was able to make delusional Buzz into a likable character rather than someone that was obnoxious. He gave a complete sense of authority to the character and really did sound like he was the real thing instead of just a child's plaything. And he was also able to make some of the smallest bits of dialogue sound awesome, such as, "We're not aiming for the truck," and "This isn't flying, this is falling, with style." And of course, he did all of his comedic scenes to perfection, from thinking he was gonna die when Woody took his helmet off to, "Don't you get it? You see that? I am Mrs. Nesbit."
I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from.
I'm still a little depressed. I can get through this. Oh, I'm a shit. Oh man, that never fails to crack me up. But in addition to that, he also did a good job selling these sadder aspects of Buzz's character, such as his breakdown after discovering he was a toy, including the Mrs. Nesbit scene. You really gotta feel sorry for seeing a guy with such confidence hitting rock bottom. Now I will say that Tim Allen is great in the other Toy Story films as well, but I felt like his performance in Toy Story 1 was my favorite, as he had a lot more material to work with that one compared to the other 2 movies, which were more Woody's show, I guess you could say.
Pretty much.
What?
Is it pretty much? I guess. Yeah, he does. He's pretty much the center of the spotlight in the first one. Yeah, he does have meteor roles, but yeah, he does. He pretty much is at the center of that first one. I guess you can't be right about that. It's just, like I said, so that's number 8 on your list?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Going on to number 7 for me is Eddie Murphy as the donkey in Shrek. One of the most obnoxious characters, without question, but you can't help but, you just marvel how Eddie Murphy brings his character to life. I mean, he really is a kind of irritating, kind of loud, and really, I wouldn't say unlikable, but he's a very, Really, yeah, he's a very he is kind of an obnoxious character because he all he does is Bob, he all he does is mess around with not really mess around with Shrek, but he always needs to like follow him like this sort of pet or something like that. He really has kind of a, I would say kind of a maybe kind of a fascination with Shrek, but initially he is really frosty toward, and Shrek is really frosty towards this character because he's a pain in the ass really. And every time he tries to make Donkey go off somewhere, it's just like you need to go. It's just I mean like I say, for the whole time he can help, but I mean you just help to look at how hilarious this character is, Especially, when scenes when, like I said, with scenes when Shrek, tries to scare him away. So it's like he's like, you need to tic tac. Of course, one of the best moments is like, you need some tic tac because your breath stink. But yeah, it's just. Eddie Murphy. Whatever you can say about him. I mean, yeah, he's a great comic character. And become an actor, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, some of the family films he's done, mostly live action. You kind of wonder, what prompted him to make this kind of movie? But there are exceptions such as this role. I mean, it's probably, like I said, he's pretty much been hit or miss for me. But no doubt about question, you can't imagine anyone else other than him playing this character, no question. So Eddie Murphy as Donkey and Shrek is number 7 on my list. All right, Mike, what is number 7 on your list?
Yeah, it's been a very long time since Eddie Murphy Raw.
Yeah.
But anyway, my number 7 is Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear.
What's wrong with you two?
I mean, I echo pretty much everything that Colton said. He, especially in the first movie, he portrayed the transition from real Buzz to toy Buzz very, very well done. And yeah, I mean, the whole Mrs. Nesbitt scene, hilarious as all get out, but it's also a key point is where it realized how much the realization that he's actually a toy has hit him, and how much he has to, how devastating to his entire universe it has become. I mean, I still really, really like him in 2. I really, really like him in 3. He got back to that, real Buzz, and then he got Spanish Buzz, which is really cool. But yeah, I mean. I really can't say it any better than Colton did. He just did a great job as Buzz Lightyear. And, yeah, I mean, Tim Allen, again, live action roles, he's not always 100% on there. In fact, most of them are pretty dog-awful. But when he's just doing his voice and when he's really getting into the role, he can really nail it. And I think Buzz Lightyear proves that. So, number 7, Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, Colton, what is number 7 on your list?
Number 7 on my list is Will Arnett as Batman from the Lego Movie. Now, I know it sounds bizarre that I'm ranking him over Tim Allen, but, well, sometimes comedy trumps drama. Really, Will Arnett had a difficult job to do. This Batman is the living embodiment of everybody's love for the character, multiplied and Will Arnett does an excellent job making it sound like Batman really is that cocky and full of himself instead of someone that's trying to sound like that. He won me over the minute he appeared on screen, and I can't wait to see more of the comedy he pulls off when the Lego Batman movie comes out next year. It's like, have you guys seen the trailer for that movie?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched it just today. I'm like, I can't wait for this movie to come out. It's like Batman, he's just such a prick, but he's like an entertaining prick, I guess you could say. You could tell that Will Arnett was like enjoying every second of this, even though he was playing.
Lovable douchebag.
It's like Will Arnett was enjoying every second of this, even though he was basically playing a character that was comically serious and whatnot. One of my favorite scenes is like,
he's got mad beatbox skills, so.
One of my favorite scenes was seeing him trying to hit something with his batarangs, and he like throws like a bunch of them at once. And when it finally hits, he's like, "First try." That's like you. It's like whoever thought that Batman could be so hilarious, you know? Outside of Adam West and the unintentional hilarity of Batman and Robin.
Darkness. No parents. Super rich.
I mean, I always thought that Adam West is more hilarious. I'm just kidding, but I mean, I still haven't seen that movie. I still have yet to see it. You know, it sounds weird.
You haven't seen what?
I haven't seen the Lego movie.
What? How could you?
I know. Yeah, I know. I'm a bonehead. I'm still trying to make time to see it, but you know.
It's a great movie, man. You gotta see it. It's like they're totally pandering to everybody that's played with Legos in their lives, but it strangely works.
Mike has the DVD. Yes, she's showing it. Everything is awesome. Is that the name of the song? Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, that's the song. Yeah. I knew that. Was that Emmett? You know. Oh, okay.
Voiced by Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh man. Yeah, but I'm itching to check that out about. Yeah, it's just gotta find out what I got. When's the appropriate time? Okay. All right. Moving on to number 6. Number 6 for me is Billy Crystal as Mike Wazowski, and this is tie. Yeah, this is a tie. And then also John Goodman as Sully from Monsters Inc. You know, I mean, other than Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear and Tom Hanks as Woody. You know, you find another winning duo in the Disney movie, albeit a Pixar movie, and there's no more apparent than Billy Crystal and John Goodman in Monsters Inc. I mean, the duo, when they're on screen, they just literally bring these characters to life. They just bring to life so vividly. You know, I mean, you see the liveliness and the energy that exudes in the Mike Wazowski character, and how laid back Sully is. You know, their quips and various exchanges together are just amazing. She says, whoever fought this up, just like I gotta give it to them, because Billy Crystal, his shit could become tiresome, but when as Wazowski, it becomes something else entirely. Definitely, I haven't seen Monsters Inc., but the whole that chemistry, that whole everything that clicked between those characters. Monsters Inc. is not a great film; it's a good film. But what makes it a good is those two together in that movie. No doubt about it for me. So Billy Crystal and John Goodman from Monsters Inc. is number 6 on my list. Okay, Mike, why don't you give us number 6 on your list?
All right, my number 6 is Everything is Awesome. It's Chris Pratt as Emmett in the Lego Movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, he just plays this. I mean, it's Chris Pratt, so it's going to be hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And he plays this character with just the right amount of hilarity. I mean, he's hilariously. I mean, he's this everyday guy, completely nothing special about him. In fact, he's so by the rules that even the other people that are ordinary and normal completely overlook him and ignore him. But when he finds that slight hope that he might be something more, he grabs that, and despite the fact that all throughout the movie we're like repeatedly told this guy is ordinary, he's got no imagination. His biggest thought is making a double-decker couch. But when he really kind of gets down to it, there is something special about him, and the way Chris Pratt portrays him is just it's really, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, he just portrays him as just this guy that wants to be so much more than he is, and eventually he finds that the desire to become more actually results in him becoming more, and that's what really makes him so special in that movie. And so yeah, Chris Pratt as Emmett in the Lego Movie. That's my number 6.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, Colton, why don't you give us number 6 on your list?
Number 6 on my list is Ralph Fiennes as Ramses from The Prince of Egypt. So, wow, who knew the guy that played the Hammy Lord Voldemort could give such a tragic performance? We're clearly meant to feel at least some sympathy for Ramses, but I think the wrong voice easily could have made him unlikable or too pathetic to invest in his problems. Ralph Fiennes, however, was able to find a good balance of understated sorrow and commanding authority needed to make Ramses into someone that we could feel for, but also want to see defeated at the end. Mm-hmm. Even after he crosses the moral horizon when he orders the death of the firstborn Hebrew children, I still felt a little bad for him at the end when he cried out Moses' name after he was defeated. I also thought that he did a good job playing off of Val Kilmer, making their characters really seem like good friends and brothers, It's making his ultimate fate at the end all the more tragic, I think, among other things. So, yeah, Ralph Fiennes is my number 6. Second of only 3 characters on this list that are not from Disney.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that. I don't believe I've seen that film in its entirety. But I suppose it's okay, but yeah, I have. Like I said, I haven't seen it in its entirety.
Yeah, I've never seen that one either.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Just kind of went under my radar.
Yeah.
Oh, take a look at it wherever you can. It's a pretty good film, I think.
Yeah, I'm supposed to check it out. Yeah, but also moving on. Going on to number 5 on my list is Mike Myers as the voice of Shrek in Shrek. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much, Mike Myers is pretty much hilarious to watch, pretty much, it would be as Wayne from Wayne's World, or as, of course, as the Shagadelic Austin Powers. Yeah.
Oh, behave, baby.
but of course, this has got to be, the one where Mike Myers has some wide appeal among folks, definitely. He really does bring this rather surly, rather angry character to life. He just wants nothing to do with anybody. He's just really rude to everyone he has an encounter. He has an encounter with. He's just somebody who really. He wants nothing to do with anything. He just wants not really to be the center of his own world, but he just really doesn't want anything to do. He just doesn't want to be a part of anything, But of course, with Donkey comes along, and of course he has to rescue this princess. He gradually develops. Along the way. What could have been? What could have been? What could have been one known character? Mike Myers definitely pulls off. He definitely pulls off. Like I said, he's surrounded by some. Of course, like I said, with people like Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, John Lithgow, and of course in the other movies, John Cleese. Definitely. Of course, if you see I think it was the outtake. I think if you see some storyboards or something like that with Chris Farley, voicing the character, it would have been interesting to see how that, how it would have turned out if they actually, if Farley had been alive, and actually voiced the character. like I said, when you see the film and hear his voice, yeah, you pretty much cement in your mind, yeah, you know, you can't do no better than Mike Myers, as this character, without question. So, Mike Myers Shrek. And Shrek, number 5 on my list. Okay, Mike, why don't you give us number 5 on your list?
All right, my number 5 is from Inside Out, Phyllis Smith as Sadness. I mean, when you've got a cast that includes Louis Black as Anger, which is an obvious fit, and Amy Poehler as Joy, again, another obvious fit. I mean, you'd think that those two would be the standouts, and they are fantastic. But there is something special about what Phyllis Smith brings to the role of Sadness. I mean, you think that she's just going to be this like mopey, like going around, not very interesting character, and she starts off almost that way. And, you kind of kind of Joy kind of pushes her aside, trying to ignore her. But as the adventure goes on, you realize that she never changes from like the sadness that you see her at the beginning. But what happens is throughout the movie, your perception of her changes. Right. So she becomes more than just the mopey character, even though the character remains exactly the same. And she, I mean, the way Phyllis Smith just does the voice, where it's constantly almost on the verge of breaking out in tears, and it's just kind of a cross between like extreme sadness and extreme depression, but there's something lovable about how she portrays it, and even like there are moments when she even gives it a bit more of a hope, like sadness actually gives a little bit more of happiness. It's kind of weird, but if you've never seen the movie, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but I highly recommend everyone see this movie. It's a beautiful movie, and out of a whole bunch of people, I think the best, is actually Phyllis Smith as Sadness. So that's why she's my number 5.
All right. Still have to watch that movie myself, then. All right.
Oh, Chris.
You never seen it?
Hey, like I said, I'm gonna get around to it.
Okay, well, what everything that Mike just said, it'll make a lot more sense when you see the movie.
Yeah, I was just saying, I do plan on seeing the movie though.
Sadness was a very interesting character, among other things, but well, I'll get to that momentarily on my list. Foreshadowing.
All right. In the meantime, why don't you give us number 5 on your list?
Number 5 on my list is from Cinderella, Eleanor Audley as Lady Tremaine, the evil stepmother. So I went back and forth on whether or not I should use her performance as the stepmother or Maleficent, but I went with the former because I think there's just something more menacing about it. I mean, with Maleficent, obviously she was going to have an evil-sounding voice. But to hear such a voice coming from the otherwise ordinary-looking stepmother, okay, not ordinary, but you and I know what I mean. I think it's more creepy hearing it coming out of the stepmother's voice, especially when you compare her portrayal to other portrayals of the stepmother. Most of them are usually just silly large hams that need Cinderella way more than she needs them, way more than she needs her. But with Eleanor Audley, she keeps her composure from beginning to end. She never raises her voice, but you get the feeling that if you ever crossed her, she'd make your life miserable. Well, more miserable than she's already made Cinderella's life. And you also get the sense that Lady Tremaine is enjoying her torment of Cinderella without making it obvious, thanks to even trying to not even
Colton, I think you're breaking up a bit.
Yeah.
Sure, you can go.
Yeah, I think he.
I can find a suitable dress to wear. I mean, what?
You were breaking up a bit there, Cole.
Guys.
Yeah, we didn't hear very much of your last 30 seconds.
Back.
I can't see you at all, actually, right now.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, we were kind of experiencing technical difficulties with Colton. You know, hopefully he'll be back momentarily. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's able to join us, but hopefully, whatever difficulty he has, it will be situated. But in the meantime, we will continue on going on. And I will go on to number 4 on my list. And number 4 on my list is James Earl Jones as the voice of Mufasa from The Lion King. I mean, wow. I mean, it's just like, yeah, James Earl Jones pretty much has one of the most distinguished careers in, screen history without a question. Of course, he's known as the voice of Darth Vader from Star Wars, from the original Star Wars trilogy. But as Mufasa, wow. I mean, he's just, you can't imagine anyone else better suited to play this character. He's this, the very regal and confident demeanor he brings to Mufasa. There's many dimensions he brings to this character. He just isn't just the king of the king of this. He's rule of this huge kingdom. He's very much a parent to Simba, very much a parent to the his young cub Simba. Pretty much. I mean, he very much I mean, it's just how he just with a parent like that. I mean, I know Mufasa's like a original character, but I would like to have had a parent like him, I guess. I mean, is that crazy?
No. He probably would have made my list, except he has in an hour and a half, 45-minute movie. He's got about 20 minutes of screen time.
I mean, but those 20 minutes without a doubt, when he just really just, I mean, he pretty much owns it,
Oh yeah, he definitely does. I mean, every moment he's on screen, you know where he is.
Exactly.
He portrays Regal very well. He always has.
I mean, his presence is, dynamic without question.
What do you expect from James Earl Jones?
Exactly. But yeah. Welcome back, Colton. Hopefully everything hits.
Am I coming in clear now? Are we all good?
Yeah, you're good. As I was saying, like James Earl Jones, like spectacular performance in The Lion King, and that's why it's number 4 on my list. All right, Mike, why don't you give us number 4 on your list?
All right, going back to Toy Story, my number 4 is Tom Hanks as Woody. I mean, when you've got an Oscar-winning Academy Award-winning actor like Tom Hanks, you know you're going to have something special. But I don't think anyone, when they first saw the first moment of Toy Story, I don't think anyone was prepared for exactly how good Tom Hanks's voice acting skills were. I mean, he brought a level of humanity and depth and emotion to that character throughout all 3 of the movies. I mean, and each one just built on a whole new level onto it, to the point where at the end of Toy Story 3, when he's saying goodbye to Andy, I don't think, at least in the movie theater I was in, I don't think there was a single dry eye in the place. Not just because it was a very sad moment, and it was, but because Tom Hanks just gave such a monumental performance that you knew that exactly what kind of a bond that Woody had with Andy, and how that bond was not really ending, but the bond was like no longer going to be connect. They were no longer going to be connected. And you can't. I mean, you can't really look beyond Tom Hanks' performance for that, because he killed it in such an amazing way that, I mean, it's really one of the greatest voice acting performances of all time. I just don't have it higher because personal preferences, but I cannot take anything away from his skill.
Okay, yeah, it's especially like in the end of Toy Story 3, he was like so long partner. Yeah, just gets you.
Oh, I'm still a little verklempt here.
Single phrase, but you can feel just the emotion behind it, and it was pretty heavy, I gotta say. Still not over that ending. It's like our childhood it's like our childhood officially came to an end with that one sentence.
Okay, you're giving me don't give me all shut.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Okay, go. Why don't you give us a number 4 on your list?
All right, I'll get back to what I said about what you guys might have missed on my number 5 later, but for right now, my last non-Disney movie non-Disney pick is From Cats Don't Dance, Ashley Peldon as Darla Dimple. The best way to describe Darla is Shirley Temple's demonic cousin. One minute she's a little angel, and the next she's ready to bite someone's head off. Even when she's being sweet, you get the idea that she's seconds away from snapping if things don't go her way. But don't take my word for it. Here's a clip of how she sounds.
Flanagan. The title of this movie is Larkangel. Isn't it? Yes. Oh, here's an angel. You tell me where's an angel?
Why, you are, Darla, sweetheart, celebrity, darling. Angel?
That's right. I am an angel. I am an adorable little angel.
Quite melodramatic. Yeah, that again. Like one or two people have said that she makes Angelica Pickles look like a saint among other things. But yeah, she's quite the little. Like I said, she's Shirley Temple's evil demonic hellspawn cousin or what have you. And just the fact, the fact that Ashley Peldon was like maybe 12 or something when she was doing that voice, that's quite an accomplishment, I think, to manage to be able to just sound like. Because we know how child actors aren't always the best of performers and what have you, but that was actually well done. She really made it sound like the girl was evil and whatnot, and without overselling it, it was the perfect mix of sugary sweetness and batshit insanity, among other things.
You tell me about it. Oh my God.
Probably one of the better villain roles out there, and not something you'd expect from it's not something you'd expect a kid to be able to pull off, which is why she made it as high on my list as she did.
Well, of course, Scott Bakula. I mean, Sam Beckett had a voice in that movie.
Yeah, he was the main character.
Right. I still have to see the movie. I know it's not like overly great yet, but I still want to check it out. Nevertheless. Okay, all right. Going on to number 3. Number 3 for me is Albert Brooks as Marlin and as an Ellen DeGeneres as Dory in Finding Nemo. Like I said, the winning talent, you can say one of Pixar's, I don't know if you can see it as an unsound talent, but one of the great things about their films is the voice talent that they bring into these films, and Albert Brooks and Ellen DeGeneres are another duo that pretty much prove that. And of course, the characters are quite contrast. With Albert Brooks as Marlin, he's a kind of a I wouldn't say a nervous wreck, but I would say neurotic, but he's very anxiety ridden. Especially you can see he's pretty much a concerned parent. Trying to find a son. Whereas Dory, you say she's kind of carefree and trusting. Yes, she has that short-term memory loss, but but yeah, the characters are complete, total opposites. You know, I mean, their moments together and scenes together are just you can tell. I mean, the energy and the overall quality they bring to these characters. You know, there's no expense. I mean, there's nothing spared. You know, they really bring. But I mean, it's just like the dude. I think brings so much humanity and emotion to these characters. You know, definitely. But you know, Ellen DeGeneres. You know, of course, we know her from her shows and of course her talk shows. You know, but she's really the standout among the duo, and I can't wait. I mean, yeah, she is wonderfully goofy in this movie. No doubt about it. You know, but I can't wait to see her again. And of course, that's the center character in the sequel. You know, I don't hate on Marlon Brooks. Excuse me, not Marlon, Albert Brooks. I mean, Albert Brooks is Marlon, but yeah, definitely Dory is definitely one of the likable of the duo. But yet, these characters are wonderfully voiced and give wonderful are just these characters are just wonderfully acted by these performers without question. So Albert Brooks and Ellen DeGeneres from Finding Nemo is number 3 on my list. All right, Mike, why don't you give us number 3 on your list?
Okay. My number 3 is from Zootopia, Jason Bateman as Nick Wilde. I mean, this is the Fox character, you know, that guy right there. I don't think there could have been a possibly better performer that they could have gotten to voice this character, because you know when you first meet him, he's this like sly fox he's a con artist. He's doing this scam. He's manages to con the main character, Judy Hopps, voiced by Jennifer Goodwin, who is also a great voice actress in this one. But then those two start having this back and forth, and they have such amazing chemistry in that movie. But then she actually gets him to work with her as they try, but he doesn't want to, so he's constantly kind of tripping her up. But about midway through the movie, they have this moment where it's revealed that there's a lot more to this character than it seems, and I'm trying to do it without giving spoilers away, but he essentially, I can't without spoiling it, I can't say more that there's a lot more to this character than it seems, and he becomes, and from that point on, he becomes just a layered upon layered excellent character, right through to the end where he does a marvelous job. And I think Jason Bateman pulled out all the stops and did the performance of a lifetime in that film. If you haven't seen Zootopia, by all means see Zootopia. It is a marvelous movie. It's got so many different levels on it. It has got a message that is really necessary these days, and it's just a wonderful movie all the way around. So, number 3 on my list is Jason Bateman as Nick Wilde in Zootopia.
Yeah, I didn't mean to see that myself. It's just like, yeah. I mean, of course, we hear so many good things about it. It's just like, yeah, but, I know, come on. What do you people honestly ask me for? Throw me a bone here.
I haven't seen it either, so that's.
Yeah, because it seems really good. It seems like the kind. Yeah. Okay.
All 3. You need to see all 3. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. You don't harangue me or something.
I'm just kidding you.
Okay. Yeah, but I will see them. Okay. No question. All right, Colton. Why don't you give us a number 3 on your list?
Speaking of movies you haven't seen, number 3 on my list is Phyllis Smith as Sadness from Inside Out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I actually I was originally going to have it be Amy Poehler as Joy, but I wound up giving it to Sadness because I thought that Phyllis Smith had a much harder job to do, and that was she had to sell Sadness without making her seem like a total buzzkill, you know? Sure, she was treated as a buzzkill by Joy, but we weren't meant to see her as that. And I think Phyllis Smith did a very good job getting us to feel for Sadness and whatnot. You can tell that Sadness wanted to help, and she, whenever she berated herself for hurting Riley, well, hurting Riley as far as Joy was concerned anyway, you really did feel for her and just wanted to reach into the movie and give her a hug. And she also nailed the best part about Sadness in that, well, I can't go into it further because of spoilers, but, well, let me see here. There's this one scene where, one character kind of is a little down to the dumps, and Sadness just sits down beside the character and just calmly talks with the character about what's up and what have you, and that's the core concept of why Sadness worked as a character. And I got a salute to Phyllis Smith for being able to nail that aspect of the character and not make her into someone that were, as opposed to, because in the hands of a lesser voice actress, we easily could have been thinking it could have easily gone from why does Joy not like Sadness to no wonder Joy doesn't like Sadness, you know.
I think what you're trying to say is Phyllis Smith shows us that Sadness is necessary.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, nailing it right there, Mike.
Right, good choice. Like I said, I want to see Inside Out. Definitely gonna make an appointment to see it, though. Definitely. Okay, going on to number two. Number two for me is Robin Williams as the genie from Aladdin. 10,000 years can give you such a crick in the neck.
I was wondering if we're gonna see him making anyone's list.
Of course, I mean, who could? You'd be a fool to just leave this character, this actress' performance as this character on a list like this. You know, I mean, just like, it's just like with the genie, it's just like, I mean, I guess on paper it seems just like I'm just pretty much just looking on the you'd be pretty much uncertain to see how a character like this could, be brought to life, but just seeing Robin Williams do it, actually, bring this character to life, you're just blown away. This is this is the whole. I think this is like the whole voice performance. This is the single voice performance that turned everything around in animated movies. It's just like it brought, I think, more. More incredible celebrities of stature to lend their talents into animated films. This is like the amount of exuberance, just the whole larger than life presence that he brings to Genie is nothing short of fantastic. It kind of reminds me of a Warner Brothers character in the sense of the zaniness and the outright irreverence of the. I mean, of course, he brings so much joy. Robin Williams is like one of the great talents of this role without question. Of course, and it was very unfortunate what he left us. I mean, what he left us was, bringing this incredible voice performance to this character. You just you can't I know it's saying you can't imagine. It's certain, it could be a cliche saying you can't imagine this movie without his voice performance. Well, this is damn true because he's that good in this movie. He's just so entertaining. He's just a character you really grow. I mean, you're just quite attached to. You're just so in love with. Just in terms of the personality of it. No doubt about it. So Robin Williams as the genie in Aladdin, number 2 on my list. Okay, Mike, why don't you give us number 2 on your list?
All right. Deja vu. Number 2 on my list is Robert Williams as the genie in Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you nailed it. There is no character that's become so synonymous with their character than Robert Williams was with the genie. I mean, he infused so much of himself into that character. I mean, all those when he's singing Prince Ali and all those Doesn't he look lovely, June? That was all him ad-libbing, and they just like, that's great. Let's animate that. So not only did he
calming Batman moves.
Yeah, but not only did he become, did he voice the character, he became the character. Which, I mean, I don't think, if you take a look at the list of all of his roles, I don't think, I think you would have to put the Genie as one of his, at least in the top 5.
Yeah.
Because he just he gave such joy to that role, and at the end when he's granted his freedom, I mean, there's just, I mean, you feel like throughout your entire body you want him to have his freedom. You wanted that to happen. It is the most beautiful ending of any of the Disney movies that I can remember. It's primarily because of Robin Williams' acting. It's wonderful all the way around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially like Dan Castellaneta. Of course, he's the voice of Homer on The Simpsons. You know, in the Return.
He did a fine job, but he was just doing a pale impersonation of Robin Williams.
It's one note imitation. Robin Williams brought so much humanity and depth to that character. He just wasn't, the funny sidekick. I mean, he was the voice. He was his conscience. He was Aladdin's conscience, without question.
Yeah.
But Lion King things. It was great to have him back. No one else could have done that role as good as he did. No one. All right. Okay, Colton, why don't you give us number 2 on your list?
Number 2 on my list is Robin Williams as the Genie.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's really the Genie.
Wow, great minds think alike. I like it.
Yeah. You guys said about Dan Castellaneta as the Genie and Return of Jafar and all that, and all the subsequent Aladdin material before King of Thieves. I think he really highlights how Robin was how well Robin fit the character, because when Dan was voicing him, you kind of had the feeling that the Genie was kind of being restricted, I guess you could say. Like he even stated that his powers were somewhat reduced to semi-phenomenal, nearly cosmic and whatnot. So, but with Robin Williams, when he was voicing the Genie, I mean, what can we say about the character that hasn't already been said? A lot, and I'm probably going to repeat some of it right now. I mean, he's easily one of the funniest characters in Aladdin and the King of Thieves, thanks to Robin not having to restrict himself in the slightest. He is clearly having the time of his life, and I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, there's this one scene where we all know the scene where Aladdin is fighting against Snake Jafar when Aladdin manages to actually land a hit on him. The Genie then transforms into a bunch of cheerleaders. It's like, Rick'em, Rick, stick that sword into that snake. And then Jafar says, you stay out of this. And then the Genie says, Jafar, he's our man. If he can't do it, great! Oh, man. But I think another thing I loved about Robin Williams is that he also does give some very understated moments throughout in Aladdin and in the King of Thieves. I mean, for example, after Aladdin's dad got arrested in King of Thieves, the Genie sadly states that there are some wishes even he can't make come true. And of course, we can't forget about him expressing his desire to someday be free from the lamp, and then his joy at being, free from the lamp, along with his tearful goodbye to Aladdin, saying he'll always be a prince to him. I mean, it's like he's kind of almost like a bit of a father-ish figure to Aladdin in a way, when you think about it. Like the way he helps him win Jasmine over, and when he gives them like some pretty sound advice, which is be yourself. I mean,
be yourself.
Yeah, mixed in with, of course, a pun from Robin Williams, and that must have been working with Robin Williams must have been a nightmare for the animators, because I mean the way the guys kept going off the road, so they're probably thinking, oh shit, what are we gonna have to do now? What are we gonna have to animate this time?
I would say that's like I mean, of course you all heard, Mel Blanc, the voice actor from, all the Warner Bros. Cartoons of the 1930s and 40s, because Bugs Bunny, Tweety, Daffy Sylvester. I mean, he was so rapid fire, so quick, in terms of his performance. That's probably better than all of what Mel Blanc did. No disrespect to Mel Blanc, but I think Robin Williams was 10 times better, I think, in terms of, bring energy to that performance,
Anyway, let's end this little Robin Williams bit with a clip from Aladdin and the King of Thieves. Oops, hold on. I muted my audio. Oh, that.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
All units, we have a shooting ourselves. Genie! Back off, Val. This creep's got a yellow sheet as long as my arm. Genie? Beat my dad. Stand down, men. Smoke him if you got him. If you're Al's dad and the King of Thieves, I just want to know one thing. Yeah? Will you be having the chicken or the sea bass?
The best thing about that is that it just shows how awesome Robin Williams was with his comedy. I mean, when the genie says, "Do not attempt to move, or we'll be shooting ourselves." I mean, who would have thought to have actually if it's had a line like that? And the line where he says, "We've having the chicken or the sea bass," though, is actually a callback to an earlier line that the genie said. And I'm like thinking, man, I would have forgotten about that line. So massive props to improv, which probably was massive props to Robin Williams for remembering that.
Interesting. Actually, confession, I haven't seen Aladdin, the King of Thieves. I don't know if I've seen it one time, but yeah.
It's definitely worth a look. I mean, as far as the Disney sequel library goes, the Aladdin sequels are actually worth looking at, I think.
I have seen the return. Of course, I've seen the Return to Jafar. I mean, just looking back now, it wasn't really that great. But yeah, you know, of course, you know, because of course all three of us have, you know, Robin Williams' voice performances, Genie and Aladdin, of course, second ranked on this list. Now moving on to number 1 on my list, and it is a tie. And it is Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear and Woody, and Tom Hanks as Woody from Toy Story. I mean, yeah, these two are of course individually ranked, but with me, I mean, the voice performances are just so good. I just can't. I mean, I just can't. It was difficult for me to choose. You know, I mean, it was just difficult for me to. It was difficult for me to make a decision because, you know, what these actors brought to these characters was nothing short of amazing. These two, they no doubt, just what they brought to these roles is just like, I mean, in terms of the contrasting personalities, was so, so astonishing to behold. You know, of course, we had Tim Allen as Buzz, the very authoritative and confident, space ranger. I mean, of course, at this point, I mean, of course, he doesn't know he's a space ranger. You know, of course, have Woody. Of course, as the very lively. Because Woody is a very lively character. I mean, like I said. When you watch this film, together, the chemistry together is so amazing, and we're so about it. It's just like, I mean, I could have chosen Robin Williams as as a number 1 on my list, in terms of voice performances in animated movies. But there was something about when Tom Hanks and Tim Allen brought life to these characters. I don't know. Maybe it's a personal preference, but to me, it has a really kind of special gravitas to it. When they when they did these characters, you know, I mean, it's just, I'll play a certain clip for you. I mean, it's just, you know.
Sheriff, this is no time to panic. This is the perfect time to panic. I'm lost. Andy is gone. They're going to move from your house in 2 days, and it's all your fault. My fault? If you hadn't pushed me out the window in the first place. Oh, well, you hadn't shown up your stupid little cardboard spaceship and taken away everything that was important to me. Tell me about importance. Because of you, the security of this entire universe is in jeopardy. What? What are you talking about? Right now, poised at the edge of the galaxy, Emperor Zurg has been secretly building a weapon with the destructive capacity to annihilate an entire planet. I alone have information that reveals this weapon's believings. And you, my friend, are responsible for delaying my rendezvous with Star Command. You are a toy! You were the real bug wonder. You're an action figure. You are a child plaything. You are a sad, strange little bird. Farewell.
Oh man, that never fails to crack me up.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of, you know, why one of the many why I just choose their voice performances without question. You know, this is, you know how they play off each other. It's just you're just utterly captivated by without question. You know, you really kind of feel for Buzz. You know, he thought he was this space commander, but he found out he was just a child plaything. He was just like, yeah, he feels a kind of a, I don't want to say a loathing, but a real insecurity. You know, but he does bring Tim Allen just bring some gravitas and humanity to his performance. But you know, but Woody is truly, when Tom Hanks voiced that character, he really brings so much levels of dimension and personality to him. I'm not saying Tim Allen didn't. He brought some personality to him, but Woody, throughout the most part, had the most intriguing facets. You know, throughout the whole Toy Story. You know. The first three Toy Story movies, you know, I mean, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see what direction these characters are going to go in once we go into Toy Story 4, you know. But we can, but for the first three to be they're sparred together is what really is the glue that holds these movies together without question. So, number one on my list, Tom Allen as Buzz Lightyear and Tim Hanks as Sheriff Woody in Toy Story. All right, Mike, what is number one on your list?
You kind of mixed up. You said Tom Allen and Tim Hanks.
Tim Allen and Tom Hanks. Oh, jeez.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bust your balls on that one, but it was just so funny. My number one is going to be a bit odd, but it's just how it is. My number one is Liam Neeson as bad cop and as give me a moment here. Good cop.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that the character was terribly deep, although he does show surprising layers coming especially at the end of the film, but it's just the performance that Liam Neeson does when he switches from bad cop to good cop and back and forth. It's amazing. And since you guys are playing your own little audio clips here, I'm gonna play one of mine. I'm hoping it's gonna come through because I'm gonna take my headset off so I can get the microphone close to my speakers. But yeah, let's give this a shot. Let me know if you can hear it.
Okay.
And there.
I watch a lot of cop shows on TV. Isn't there supposed to also be Isn't there supposed to be a good cop?
Oh, yes, but we are not done yet.
Hi, buddy. I'm your friendly neighborhood police officer. Would you like a glass of water?
Yeah, actually. It's
Too bad.
All right, did you guys hear that okay?
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, I mean, just they actually, if you look on YouTube, you can see a clip of him going back and forth right in the studio, in the recording booth, just bouncing with that. Oh no! Oh yeah, hi buddy. And it's just the the alternate back and forth like that, it just adds so much fun to that character. And the fact that he has a real hobby of throwing chairs around and kicking people that he doesn't like. But I mean, and as the movie does go on, he does show some interesting layers in that character, and especially, like I said, especially at the end. And so, yeah, is it as good a performance as like Robin Williams, Tom Hanks? Probably not, but just for the sheer fun of the character, I give him a #1 spot.
Yeah, it's like I think one thing I love about Bad Cop is that he's pretty much spoofing every R-rated role that Liam Neeson, every badass R-rated role that Liam Neeson has been overdoing as of late, and what have you. And also, yeah, the fact that he provides good cop's voice. Also, like I didn't realize it until I went online and saw that he voiced both of the characters, and it wasn't like his voice was being altered or sped up or anything. That was just him naturally switching to the voice. I think one of my favorite lines from him in the movie was he was like, "Okay, we can do this either the easy way or," and then they immediately reference it, and he's like, "That's the hard way, fire!"
He's just this very, very mean guy. Throughout most of the movie, he's just a mean guy, but he's so earnest in his meanness. I mean, he's called Bad Cop for a reason.
Isn't me used to sound kind of like a takeoff of his Taken character?
It kind of is, yeah. I mean, I think he actually even has a line, "Get off my train," instead of "Get off my plane."
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a parody of Harrison Force's, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First one to say, "Get off my plane." Yeah.
He's just a really fun character.
Okay.
Which I'm sure Chris will eventually find out.
Eventually, hopefully.
Yeah, I do plan to see the movie, fellas. I do plan to see it.
I know. Again, I'm just busting your balls.
Okay. All right, Colton, why don't you give us #1 on your list?
All right, but before that, here are a couple of honorable mentions. First, we have Jim Cummings as Steele from Balto, and I like him because even though he's an egotistical prick, but Jim Cummings gives enough minutes into the performance that you know that he could easily tear you apart if you got on his bad side.
Yeah.
What?
Go on, Colton.
Oh, yeah, I have a few more. Next is Amy Poehler as Joy from Inside Out. I really wanted to have her on the list, but like I said, Phyllis Smith had a harder role to do, but Amy Poehler still really nails the whole spirit of Joy that she's trying to go for, and comes across as a motherly figure and all that jazz, while also showing that she's a bit of a control freak at the same time. And my last two are Tony Jay as Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I mean, what can't be said about this guy and his badass voice, and how he's able to make Frollo into a bit of a complicated character while also being a totally evil prick. And my last honorable mention is Alan Tudyk as King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph. He's basically a more psychotic and evil version of the Mad Hatter, but when towards the end of the movie, when he really shows his true colors, while his voice doesn't change too much, there's enough of a change that he actually makes King Candy's voice sound scary, you know. But now for my #1 is...
Actually think you're the Buzz Lightyear? All this time I thought it was an act. Hey, guys, look! It's the real Buzz Lightyear!
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Oh, no. Buzz, look, an alien!
Someone that was a YouTube poop at the end. I didn't realize that. But yeah, Tom Hanks as Woody. I mean, and I think his compared to Buzz, this time it's his performance of the entire Toy Story trilogy. I don't think they could have found a better person to voice Woody than Tom Hanks. He starts the series off as pretty much a deconstruction, so to speak, of the classic good guy, where he is a good man, but he also has massive ego problems, and Tom Hanks perfectly conveys this. But I also like how he manages to make Woody into an entertaining jerk, I guess you could say. Like, yes, Woody isn't. We're not really meant to like Woody for how much of a prick he's currently being, but there's just something about the way Tom Hanks plays him that I just kind of just enjoy watching him be this like jerk. He's like when that. See here. I mean, there's Buzz looking alien. Then there's also the scene where that toy shark is wearing his hat, and Woody's like, give me that.
Scene, in the scene when he had the when Buzz was front of the house, by way of a lamp. Yeah. And the Toy Toys were trying to skin Woody, not really skin Woody alive, but yeah, they were trying to maim him for.
I really hated the other toys in that scene. I mean, they were obviously acting out. They were not like acting out for Buzz's best interest. They've been waiting to do this for a while, or just looking for an excuse, I think. But I also like how Woody kind of like came to his how Woody comes to his senses and all that. Like, before that though, another thing I liked about Woody is that despite his ego problems, he also has a very good sense of authority. Like you can see why he is the leader of the toys and all that jazz, and he even displays it when he manages to snap Buzz out of his little depression before Tom Hanks then seamlessly slips into Woody being depressed himself when he says, as a matter of fact, you're too cool. I mean, what chance does a toy like me have against a Buzz Lightyear action figure? That was pretty sad, actually. And I like how he played off of Tom Hanks, how he played off of Tim Allen throughout the franchise, and they really did feel like people that became good friends after a while. And I liked how Tom Hanks kept up Woody's sense of authority throughout the franchise, how he was able to convince the other members of the Roundup gang to go along with him, and how initially he decided to stay with them because they needed him, otherwise they go back into storage. You can believe that Woody would sacrifice going back to Andy because he wanted to help these other toys out and what have you. And of course, there was his almost final line at the end of Toy Story 3. It's just one sentence. So long, partner, and it easily could have been screwed over by a lesser actor, but Tom Hanks, he hits the ball out of the park. It's very simple, it's understated, and it just really tugs at the heartstrings, and you suddenly realize that it's it. The Toy Story that we all grew up with is over. I mean, sure, there's going to be Toy Story 4, and there were the Toy Story shorts, Toy Story That Time Forgot and the Halloween special, which were pretty good in their own rights, but in regards to the original Toy Story trilogy, having Woody be the one to close it all out with his final lines, okay, he had a few more extra lines after that, but Still On Partner was basically him, he said it like right to the camera as if he was saying it right to the audience. That's quite a way to like close things out, and why I didn't cry because, well, I don't know why I didn't cry, but it still really tugged at my heartstrings. Like, I got on record saying that when it comes to me crying at Pixar movies, Inside Out is actually the one that made me cry. But Tom Hanks, however, he was made for a very good, an excellent lead. And I've heard that Tom Hanks, he like had some of Tom Hanks' lines from Toy Story. He had so many good lines from Toy Story 1, but they couldn't fit them all in there, and it had to use some of them in Toy Story 2 and in Toy Story 3, and apparently they still have more unused dialogue from him and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see if they, maybe I'll watch whenever Toy Story 4 comes out. I wonder if there'll be a behind-the-scenes footage where they say, hey, we're still using our footage from Toy Story 1, Tom. Thanks for being such a good improver and what have you. But yeah, that's my number one, Tom Hanks' Woody. And real quick, since apparently we were having connection problems with when I was saying what my number 5 was. Real quick, what I liked about the other thing I liked about Eleanor Audley's performance as the stepmother was that she didn't portray her as a large hammer or anything like that. She kept her composure from the beginning to end. She never raised her voice. But you got the feeling that if you crossed her, she'd make your life miserable. Well, more miserable than she already made Cinderella's. And you also got a sense from the way she voiced the character that Lady Tremaine was getting a kind of a sick enjoyment out of Cinderella's misery without making it overtly obvious. Well, while at the same time, she could make the stepmother sound reasonable if she wanted to, like when she told Cinderella, oh, sure, you can go to the ball, provided that you can get your work done and everything like that. And, I mean, we obviously know that she's trying to screw her over, but the way she says it, though, you could almost buy that she's being serious about it, you know? Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's what I had to say about my number 5 that we might have lost. And number 1, Tom Hanks, he's a great actor. And no one else could have done the character Woody better than him. And we know this for a fact because I've actually seen some behind the scenes footage from the original Toy Story, and the voice actor that they initially had for some test footage and everything from other voices for Woody just sounded odd, I guess you could say. I mean, they were originally from like earlier drafts where Woody was more of a jerk, but still, they didn't sound right. I guess they didn't sound right among other things.
Okay, all right, great. I mean, some very interesting, some great lists from all across the board here on the show. Okay, the show tonight. Okay, all right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us on this particular episode. And of course, of course, DC TV. All the DC TV shows are coming back this week. Arrow is returning after. For a few weeks of hiatus, and so basically all DC television will be back on. Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and we'll make sure to do our recap show at the end of the week. Question, and also make sure, like I said, to thank you for joining us on our show, and also next week on our show it's going to be our top 5 movie crossovers we want. So make sure to check out that show next Monday. And also, I'd like to thank the people who were kind enough to join me. Mike, my man, great pleasure having you.
Great to be back as always. Just want to do a quick shout out. My podcast we're going to be recording tomorrow. It's going to be our countdown of the top 20 to 25 Disney songs. So everyone that gave us their lists, thank you so much, and we will get that posted ASAP. But again, thank you so much for having me on here. It's great always to be talking to you guys.
But definitely, like I said, we always love having you on. Make sure, and make sure to check out Mike's website, geeksalad at geeksalad.podbean.com. Make sure you check out for that. And then you said the show you're doing is top 20 to 25 Disney songs. Make sure you check out for that. And also another person I'd like to thank for joining me, Colton, man. It's also great having you on the show.
Happy to be here, man. We're really looking forward to next week's show. I'm sure I'm going to have some interesting picks for that.
Yeah, it should be an interesting show without question. Yeah, I myself it's like. As I said, I've been wanting to do a show like that, so I'm pretty anxious to get that rolling next week. And like I said, next week for the show, top 5 movie crossovers we want, which is going to be the topic of episode 68 of our show next week. Okay, and be sure you check out for that. It's probably going to be a pretty interesting show, no question. All right, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sam Miller, and until next time, bye.